A significant tornado outbreak is possible today and into the overnight hours of today, anywhere in this yellow or higher risk, even in some of these greens right here. If we look in, we have this level 4 out of 5 and level 3 out of 5 area for significant long track violent tornadoes. This has a very high ceiling and a decently low floor. If storms congeal into mostly align and they stay multicellular and less supercellular, we will see a lower tornado threat today. Still could be pretty strong with such an environment that we have, but this has a very high chance of being a significant day for severe weather, especially if we get a lot of clearing and a lot of supercellular development instead of a line. We could see a very strong, possibly significant, long track, widespread tornado outbreak anywhere in the orange and yellow, and even in the highest area in this moderate right here. So people in this moderate risk, we got St. Louis, Taylorville, Effingham, Paducah, Tiptonville, Union City, Tennessee up there. Mayfield is close to that. Poplar Bluff, Rolla, Union, St. Charles, Jefferson City. We got these areas in Illinois, Missouri, Tennessee, and Kentucky in these areas of this level 4 out of 5. Moderate risk, mainly tornado driven. So you guys are at near that area. Take a look at our enhanced risk. We got Bloomington, Decatur, Jacksonville, Jefferson City, Little Rock, Memphis, Nashville is close to that. Clarksville is close to it. We could see a strong tornado threat in any of those as well. And then our larger level 2 out of 5 has Chicago, Fort Wayne, Nashville, Lawrenceburg, Tupelo, Greenville, Shreveport, Fort Smith, Springfield, and Kansas City, close to that area. So that's going to be where most of our severe weather is going to be. Now, taking a look at our tornado outlook, we could see this large area of the 5% hatch risk. So it's SIG 1, level 1 out of 3 for SIG. That's going to be where any significant tornadoes can be. And then right here, you see our main risk, our 15% and our 10% SIG 2 risks extend all the way from Decatur down to Memphis. Now, Memphis in Western Tennessee is and has been expanded into this level SIG 2 level 10% right here for significant tornadoes overnight tonight. And I do think that would be a secondary risk to watch into the night. So really late in the night, like 10 to 3 a.m. in these areas. Especially the farther west we are, I feel like there's going to be a big chance for some supercells over here that could produce a violent tornado into tonight. And then obviously our main risk that's going to be happening as we speak and into the next couple hours, where our main violent tornadoes are going to start near St. Louis in these areas where our low level shear is just insane and will just keep growing into the night. And we also see this hit SIG risk all the way down into Tyler, Texas. Lower threat down here for some supercells, but anywhere up here we can see some violent, very significant tornadoes in those areas. Now this is going to be just, you can see how widespread our risk area is from Shreveport up to Waterloo, Rockford, Milwaukee. That 5% extends, and that SIG risk is pretty big as well. So we could have a big area with the possibility of significant tornadoes. Now looking here toward Middle Tennessee, where most of our viewers are, Nashville, Columbia, you guys are in that border edge of the 5%. Hohenwald, Centerville, Charlotte, Clarksville, you guys are in that SIG risk tonight, so a possible strong tornado. And then West Tennessee, our Jackson, Dyersburg, Memphis, Greenfield, Paris area. That's going to be where our possible very, very significant tornado will happen tonight, and our highest percentage of that happening over there. We also do have that risk for damaging winds, especially here in the pink and red areas. No significant hatching denoted by the SPC in this outlook. The large hail threat does have a significant threat farther west, obviously, by the higher Cape. We have the 30% where we can see hailstones up to 2 to 3 inches and anywhere in these SIG areas for our max hailstone size. Now we're going to dive into our analysis right now. Taking a look at our visible satellite, we can see our outflow boundary that is easily identifiable along this right here, around these cumulonimbus and cumulus clouds developing around that. That's going to start our convective development in our primed atmosphere right now. So we're going to have to watch that over the day today. We have our cold front that is lagging a little bit behind. It is setting up for today's threat. It will plunge southward. You can see some cumulonimbus clouds developing around the Iowa area where our low is situated. Those will be some storms later today. And then our not very tight, not very identifiable dry line right there, which will be it's not super tight and it won't really be a factor going into today. It will be, but it will be less of a factor with this cold front just surging south. And then our kind of squall, not our warm, well, I'll draw our warm front. It's kind of more like the warm front is kind of in this cold pool like that. This morning convection has really eaten away at northern Illinois and Indiana's instability over the day. We'll have to rely on warm air advection and our just southerly winds in this outflow boundary moving for that threat. But I don't think that will happen. That not saying you guys are clear today, but you guys will have less of a threat and won't have a crazy threat like these areas down south will. Now, taking a look at our radar right here, you can see over the night, last night, and into today, our morning convection has it's been aligned. It's produced some moderately severe damaging winds and a couple tornado warnings. But now you can see our outflow, this fine line right here, that dying storm winds are starting to initiate supercells along it. Now, this is going to be key and crucial as this is going to be where our highest tornado threat will be today. Also, you can kind of locate this kind of area of storms forming along this. Now, this is going to be our confluence band, our kind of area where storms will be forming on, and that's going to be like where the wind shift is. I haven't looked at our station plot, so I can't tell if that's true, but that area will be seeing possible storm development near the Mississippi River. We'll go ahead and turn on our station plots to see if we have a wind shift around that. It does not look like it. It looks like we have maybe a little bit of convergence right there, but we have that strong moisture and that juicy atmosphere right over here and right near that possible convergence there. And that will be possibly a confluence band right there. But as we go forward in this frame loop, you can see our cells starting to fire along our boundaries right there. Now, taking a look at our mesoscale analysis, we'll take a look at our surface pressure and take a look at the Midwest sector here. As you can see, looking at our mesoscale analysis, our low pressure system is chilling right there near the Minnesota, Iowa area. That border right there, we can see that low pressure system right there. Like we drew on our other map, our cold front is looking like this. Our warm front is looking kind of more like that. And then along that morning convection and that outflow right there. And then our dry line is kind of like this. So going into today, we're going to have this kind of triple point like area near our outflow right there. That dry line might be a little bit too forward right now, but that outflow boundary is going to form some storms around it today. And those storms will become very explosive and very robust into today's atmosphere. As you can see, taking a look at our surface-based CAPE, 4,000 to 5,000 joules per kilogram right there. And that is going to be very strong CAPE. That's going to be where we're going to see like explosive supercells, large hail. Taking a look at our significant tornado parameter effective, our tornado juice we have a lot. Anything above a 1 is pretty good for tornadoes. And we have up to 5, and that's only going to be increasing into today. We can see that go up to a 5, a 6, even into 7s down here in the Mississippi River. And I do think that could possibly be even higher. But we do have that threat up there for some severe weather. The CAPE is getting higher up there along the less strong outflow, and our kind of outflow line you can see right there according to our CAPE contours right along that outflow where those storms are going to form and become discrete and robust. That's going to be the significant part of today. Now, taking a look at our 500 millibar chart, our upper air analysis right here. Let me pull it up. This is very impressive. This is the reason it has a very high ceiling. Taking a look at why this trough is going to be so bad for us is this negative tilt. Now, what a negative tilt is it's when our left side of our trough is pointing this way and our right side of our trough is pointing this way, and it is on the lines I drew right here, our trough axis is like this. Now, the reason that negatively tilted troughs are favorable is because of diffluence. Now, winds you can see are blowing this way in the atmosphere at this area, and then winds are going this way. Now, that's going to lead these winds kind of diverging right here. Now, right in our main risk area, we have a void filled. Now, that causes rising motion to rise into this diffluence. And obviously, rising motion causes clouds and storms to form. And that's why negative tilts are so powerful. Now, not saying that positive tilts can't cause severe weather, but with a positive tilt, some of our troughs are more winds like this and then winds like this, which don't have that much of a void when you're talking about winds like this and winds like that difluence, the winds diverging. And that's the reason negative tilts are so powerful. Now, these diverging winds can cause rising, and that's going to cause possible confluence storms. And that's why we have such a strong threat today, because of just the favorability of our divergence and our lower level shear on this trough. Now, our 80 knot contour and our very strong winds are coming in right now, our kind of disturbance moving through. And then into today, this will continue to move through this other little axis right here, moving into our area, causing low level shear to increase into the night with that low level jet. We'll take a look at our low level jet right now. Actually, we'll take a look at our version 2. So, this is our 850 millibar winds. Our low level jet is pretty expansive. That's our winds moving, our southerly winds cranking that low level shear. That's going to be maximized around that outflow right there. And that will continue into the night, as you can see on this forecast right here, into the southern areas of our risk area where that cape is going to be the highest. So we're going to have to watch that for intense low level shear tonight. Now, taking a look at our surface vorticity and our 3 cape, I kind of want to zoom out for this. It's our last product we're going to view. You can see our blue contours are kind of maximized along our outflow right here. I probably shouldn't have drawn that in light or in white, but our vorticity is maximized along our outflow and along our cold front and low, and along these boundaries. That's going to help today with storm development and just becoming intense supercells. You can see today that kind of lingers near that outflow and our cold front boundary right there. So that's going to help with storm development over today. And our 3 cape, our lower level cape in the lower atmosphere, is up to 170, which is plenty for significant long track tornadoes. Taking a look at our observed sounding weather balloon launch at Springfield, Missouri, this is what makes me think this is going to be a significant tornado outbreak today. Now, this was taken at 8 a.m., so this is not even when our peak wind shear and peak intensity of our cape and everything, our surface heating, will be done. And this wind profile is just insane. Our storm relative helicity, our low-level curvature in the hodograph right there, is up to 608 SRH effective inflow layer, so what the storm can ingest, what the storm feels, and that's going to cause for long track, significant, violent tornadoes. And taking a look at our temperature in our SKU-T, our temperature plot, and you see just what you would want for this type of vertical wind profile for a significant tornado outbreak. 2100 joules per kilogram of mixed layer cape. Now, this will be increasing, obviously, because it was taken at 8 a.m. Our elevated mixed layers there are nice 9.3 Celsius per kilometer, our mid-level lapse rates right there. That's going to help our air parcel rise super fast into supercells and storms into today. Our deep moist layer up to about 750 millibars right there. And you can see our 68 over 69, or 69 over 68, sorry, right there. That would be our very deep moist layer right there in our capping inversion that will be eroding over today. We will see that erode and become a very volatile wind profile and SKU-T profile into today as the low level shear increases, as the elevated mixed layer kind of decreases a bit, but our temperature rises and everything sets into place for a significant tornado outbreak. Now, we will see how this evolves with our 18Z weather balloon launches. Those will be coming soon in the next couple of hours. I will make a community post on this if anything goes crazy. I also might go live today. I don't know about that though. But this is a very volatile atmosphere. You guys need to stay safe. You guys are in that enhanced or that moderate risk out there in Missouri, Illinois, and northern Arkansas. Now, taking a look at our model data, this is about 1 p.m. right now as the time of recording this. Our morning convection does look like it did. Our outflow is going to be like that. But as you can see going into today, we have intense supercells developing along that boundary right there and along our confluence, possible confluence. Now, this model is a little bit messy. If we get discrete development out here that looks pretty discrete and a lot less storms like this, we could see strong tornadoes today in any of these areas in the prefrontal in our warm sector into today. We go forward, our kind of supercells congeal into a line, more cells form. This model run is a little muddy. This is what we can see. We have some supercells firing down there in Arkansas. It's going to pose a very strong tornado threat. And then our tornado threat extends down into Tennessee, our last little bit of significance before it dies out and leads up into tomorrow's threat. We'll talk about that in a minute. But taking a look at our 0Z run from yesterday, this was a crazy run. And this is basically what I'm going to show you this to show the highest ceiling of today, what it was looking like. So our morning convection does look like it did, but this model run from yesterday had significant cells firing on the confluence and significant, robust, very strong, violent tornadoes forming on the cold front. This would be at about 6 p.m. Then intense, very strong cells developing in Arkansas, some cellular development up here in western Tennessee, southern Kentucky, then moving forward, more cellular development, and our cells kind of moving into our area and then congealing into a line by 5 a.m. And then that would move out. Now, taking a look at our significant TOR, our SIG-TOR parameter, this really hasn't changed on any of our models, so it's fine if we take a look at this. But into today, like we were talking about, our significant tornado parameter is maximized along our outflow boundary. Maybe we'll take a look at our newest model run. 18Z is just off the press. Go to 17Z. Just along our boundary right there, our very strong significant tornado parameter right there, and our little shear right there. Now moving forward, as you can see, that intensifies down south as the low-level jet starts cranking into the night, and then that would kind of close out our tornado threat as they move into the western Tennessee, southern Kentucky, southern Arkansas area into tonight. Now let's take a look back at our 0Z from last night and then just show you how volatile our atmosphere was yesterday on that run. This is going to be the highest ceiling. Just look at that. And those storms forming in such a strong environment there. That is basically our high ceiling for what could be a very significant tornado outbreak today. So keep that in mind. The newest models are kind of getting messy. We'll have to see how that evolves, but our yesterday's model is showing our highest ceiling in what would be a strong, significant tornado outbreak right there. Taking a look at tomorrow's risk, we have this level 3 out of 5 that just got added, and our level 2 out of 5, a tornado threat does exist, a wind threat does exist, some significant winds, and our hail threat does exist. We will just take a look at some model data for our area. Let's take a look at the newest 18Z triple R if it goes out far enough. It does not. Ooh, this model, speaking of today, firestorms, significant storms along confluence, and very significant cells up there. This is crazy. Whoa. This is hot off the press. Like, this is coming in as we speak, and our significant tornado parameter is in the tens. Oh my goodness. Wow. This is going to be if this is the truth right here and this comes true, this will be a significant day for severe thunderstorms in this area. We're going to have to watch that, especially look at that cell. That is very significant that we're seeing this just now in this newest run. This will be a significant day. It's our lowest level reflectivity. You can see it even trying to hook there. Not saying it's going to be a tornado there, but it's just this environment is going to be insane going into today. Taking a look at our Cape, I guess we're just going to look at this now. Our dew points, nice and warm, moist atmosphere like we were talking about. And our Cape right here, our mixed layer Cape, rising into the 4,000s, 3,000 zone into today. And that would allow for that significant tornado threat anywhere in the Missouri, Arkansas, western Tennessee, southern Illinois area. This is going to be a significant day for severe thunderstorms. Now, our 18Z doesn't go out that far. It's just coming out. We'll take a look at our 12Z. And let's take a look at tomorrow's threat. So supercells move out. Our kind of warm sector gets pinched out. And then redevelopment develops over the day tomorrow. You can see maybe some significant tornado parameter there, some strong tornado parameter. It's going to be a very messy day tomorrow. So as you can see, a ton of supercells fire. No real kind of boundary that's going to be firing this, since there is not really going to be a cap or an elevated mixed layer tomorrow that will be hindering development or keeping development low for a little bit. Take a look at our soundings here. Maybe some elevated mixed layer. not some cap, but once these form out in front of this, like West Tennessee tomorrow, there's really no cap, and it's really just like a strong environment, but it will be eaten away by these big time storms. That's why we don't have a huge risk. Tomorrow, we'll take a look at our full nation scale right here. Cells fire, I think the biggest threat would be in southern Arkansas, northern Louisiana, and that would be all said and done really by Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday morning. All those storms would die out. And take a look at our 500 millibar chart for this. Not really. It's kind of a slight negatively tilted trough, but nothing like we're seeing today in our trough geometry and everything, like how the trough is being shaped is not going to be like today, and how broad our warm sector in our area is going to be. Thank you guys for watching this video. This is going to wrap it up for today. But as you can see, just looking at the newest 18Z model run, we are looking at a big time threat today. So anybody in this yellow, orange, red, you guys need to be weather aware today for significant tornadoes, violent and significant tornadoes possible today. I think today has a very high ceiling. I will keep community post updates and a video update maybe later today. And stay tuned for that Enid tornado breakdown that we had in Oklahoma the other day. But thank you guys for all the support. Thank you guys for watching. That's going to wrap it up for today's video. Goodbye.